Hi, I'm Brad Hunt, the Designated Affiliate Leader for NAMI Lubbock. In this video, I want to provide you a quick introduction to NAMI, who we are, what we do, why we do it, and how you can get involved. NAMI is the National Alliance on Mental Illness, and it's the nation's largest grassroots mental health organization, dedicated to building better lives for the millions of Americans affected by mental illness. NAMI started as a group of volunteers around a kitchen table in 1979, but has grown to more than 600 local affiliates in 49 states. Whether you're talking about NAMI at the national level, the state level, or the local level, each organization has a mission, and all of those missions are very similar. Each one may be stated just a little bit differently. But this is our stated mission statement for NAMI Lubbock: to provide support, education, and advocacy for people living with mental illness and their family and friends. NAMI Lubbock has actually been serving Lubbock since 1988 when it was first formed. It's had different names over the years and has been led by different people over the years, but it rebooted in March of 2020. And currently, NAMI Lubbock serves as what's called a Model B affiliate that operates under NAMI Texas. So NAMI Texas is based in Austin and is our state level organization. A Model A affiliate means that it itself is a nonprofit, a 501c3. A Model B means that we are not our own nonprofit, but we operate under the umbrella of NAMI Texas. So at the local level, we don't have a board of directors like a nonprofit might. We have a leadership team. And we operate under the umbrella of NAMI Texas, which means they hold our bank account, they provide us technical support and assistance, insurance, guidance, things like that. But we basically operate autonomously. We maintain our own budget, we keep up with our own finances, and we lead NAMI Lubbock to serve our community. So here's a map of Texas, and it shows the different regions that NAMI operates under. There are 9 regions, and each of those regions has a board member at the state level, so in Austin that goes to board meetings. And then each region is subdivided into affiliates. So you can see we're in Region 1, which is made up of Lubbock and Texas Panhandle, which is located in Amarillo. And you can see around the state there are other regions and a number of other local affiliates. I believe we currently have 26 or 27, and depending on when you watch this video, there may be a new local affiliate. New affiliates come up every year, and sometimes affiliates are sort of sunsetted if the leadership changes and there's nobody there to sort of pick up that affiliate and run. Sometimes affiliates do close down or restart in later years. So why do we do what we do? A common theme for NAMI is you are not alone. We know that millions of people are affected by mental illness each year, and the more that we are talking openly with people, the more we find that mental illness affects so many people. We know that 1 in 5 U.S. adults may experience a mental illness in a given year, and 1 in 20 a serious mental illness. So that might be something like schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, and so on. And we know that about 17% of youth experience a mental health disorder. And this graphic was created pre-pandemic, so we think those numbers are actually higher now. And you can see below some of the stats for other diagnoses and other populations. So what do we do here in Lubbock to support our local community? We've got a few different categories of things that we do. The first is support groups. And one thing to note here is if you look at the bottom left, there's a little bit of a legend, and a single asterisk means we currently are offering this program. 2 asterisks means it's maybe we have 1 person trained, but typically you need at least 2 people trained to run a program or a support group. So you'll see through these slides, there are a couple places where we certainly could use some more volunteers. And then you'll see some things that don't have any sort of indication in 1 asterisk or 2. Those are things that are programs that operate at the national level or the state level, and we could offer them at the local level if we have somebody step up and say, I'm passionate about that topic, I want to lead that. So keep that in mind as we go through these next couple of slides. As far as support groups, we offer 2 support groups. All of our programs are free of charge, free to the community. Connection Recovery Group is a recovery group that is designed for people who they themselves live with a mental health condition. Whereas Family Support Group, that's really designed for family members who have a loved one with a mental health condition. Doesn't have to even be a diagnosed condition, but they live with a mental health condition. And we're currently offering those in Lubbock. And I'll show the website here in just a few minutes. But on our website, we have a calendar and we have descriptions of those groups as well. So you can see when they meet and sort of what to expect. Advocacy, a large part of what we do is advocacy. And that's, if you may remember, in our mission statement. And so that means, working on behalf of others. NAMI Smarts for Advocacy is a program that we have one person trained in, and we need some additional people trained. But that's a program that has a number of different modules that help you do things like write letters to Congress people, how to go talk to your state legislatures, maybe how to write letters, how to have phone calls, how to testify, how to share your story, basically. FaithNet and Hearts and Minds, those are other advocacy programs that work through churches and other organizations. Under education, we have NAMI Basics, which is a program designed, as it sounds like, to review the basics of mental health education, and it's targeted to families with children. Family to Family is an 8-week class that is a psychoeducation class. It's an opportunity to talk about things like diagnoses, crisis communication, how to get help, how to talk to doctors. And again, that's one where we could use some additional volunteers. And that's a great service to the community because it's a time where people often, first experience that they're not alone and they get to talk a little bit about their own stories and share with people in the community. De Familia a Familia de NAMI is the same program offered in Spanish. Homefront, I believe, has to do with veterans. Peer-to-peer is what it sounds like. It's kind of like Connection Recovery. It's a program that's designed for people speaking to people that live with mental illness. De Persona a Persona de NAMI is the same in Spanish. And NAMI Provider is designed to be an education outreach event for people that are in the medical profession. Because even though they're in the medical profession, they may not have mental health training. As far as other presentations, excuse me, Ending the Silence is one where you have younger adults who go back into high schools and openly talk with high school students about mental health and their own journey. In Our Own Voice is a similar program. A person with lived experience with a mental health condition speaks to a group of people. Doesn't have to be high school people in this case, but could be any group of people that would like to listen. Compartiendo Esperanza is that's Spanish for sharing hope, and you'll see below that sharing hope. These are two programs that are more like community conversations. Sharing Hope is designed to be a conversation in the predominantly African American communities, whereas Compartiendo Esperanza is in Spanish-speaking communities. So it'd be great to have some volunteers that represent those communities that could help us bring those presentations to Lubbock. NAMI Family and Friends is a shortened version of Family to Family. It's about a 4-hour class that in just half a day sort of goes over the basics that you might learn in that longer Family to Family class. Sharing your story with law enforcement is kind of what it sounds like. Many law enforcement officers go through some mental health training, and they often ask for volunteers to come in and speak about their own stories so that as those law enforcement officers, first responders are being trained in mental health, they can hear firsthand from somebody maybe that's had experience with a mental health police officer or crisis intervention team. So how can you get involved? If this sounds interesting to you and you have a passion for helping and a passion for working with mental health, one thing we'd recommend is to attend a support group. Again, all the support groups are free, and I'll show you there's a calendar on our website. And so that's a great way to get started, just to see what is it like to attend a support group, what is it like to be on the receiving end of a NAMI program. And the only criteria for that is that you meet, that you're either a person living with a mental health condition or you have a loved one with a mental health condition. And then you would choose whichever support group is right for you. And it's important to know here that NAMI Lubbock offers different support groups and different methods. So some are online, some are in person. And if the times and locations don't work for you, you can also check out online programs offered through NAMI Texas and also even other affiliates around the state. So you may find a support group that's offered by NAMI Texas that meets weekly, or you might find a support group from NAMI Houston or NAMI Central Texas, something like that. You're welcome to attend any of those as long as you meet that criteria. That would give you a great experience to know if you might want to lead a support group. So, any of our volunteers that lead a program or lead a support group, those folks go through training. So, you don't have to just jump in and not know what to do. For the support group facilitators, typically that's a weekend of training. You start on a Friday evening, most of the day Saturday, and part of the day Sunday. They've all been over Zoom, although sometimes they do the trainings in person, but since the pandemic, they've all been done on Zoom. And so you go through some role play, you kind of experience facilitating with other people. You are trained in different methods on how to handle sort of traumatic issues that are brought up or hot button issues that are brought up. And then the idea would be that you go through that training. And then once we receive word from NAMI Texas that you've been trained, we can plug you into a program and get you started as a leader. Maybe you don't want to facilitate a support group, but you want to lead one of the programs that I mentioned earlier, maybe an education program or a presentation. Often those also have trainings. Typically they're shorter, but you'll be trained on how to facilitate a conversation or present your story to law enforcement, for example. So those are great ways to get involved. You could also be part of the NAMI Lubbock leadership team. So recall that I said earlier we are not officially a nonprofit with a board of directors, but we do have a local leadership team. And so I serve as the designated affiliate leader currently. We have people that oversee programming and communications and outreach and volunteering. And so if any of those things interest you, when we have openings, we'd love to have you attend the leadership team. You can also serve on committees. So maybe you don't want to be a coordinator, say, for communications, but you'd like to help with email outreach or editing our website, something like that. You could step up and say, hey, I've got some skills in that area. Or you could help at a specific event. So typically, the last couple of years, we've had one sort of main event during the year, and we need volunteers the day of that event to do things like hand out shirts and check people in and pick up trash, whatever it may be. So if you just need a few hours and you want to help at a specific event, or maybe you'd be willing to help us make connections with people in our local community by calling mental health providers, we can be open to ideas. But if you've got an idea of how to help, we'd love for you to get involved. So how do you actually then get involved? First place is to start on our website, which is namilubbock.org. And when you go there, you'll see a menu link at the top for Get Involved, and then a page for Volunteer. And when you go to the volunteer page at the top, you'll see that we have a current volunteer list. We've partnered with the Volunteer Center of Lubbock, who's a kind of a volunteer clearinghouse, if you will, in Lubbock, that offers a number of different volunteer opportunities. So first you can click on this logo and you can look at our current volunteer opportunities. And we're always going to have family support group and connection recovery. At the time of the recording of this video, we're looking for communications coordinator, website administrator, email outreach volunteer. And these are all volunteer positions. And as you click on any of these, you can read about what's the skill set required, what's the anticipated commitment level in terms of number of hours per month, and so on. And once you've read about those and you have an interest in one, the best thing to do is come back to our website, because we've got this volunteer interest survey. And it gives some background information on you. Not every field is required, but it lets us know a little bit about your personal and family experience with mental illness. You certainly don't have to share anything that you don't want to share here, but anything you want to share that would give us insight into maybe why you're interested or passionate about helping with a mental health nonprofit, that would be excellent. Tell us a little bit about any other nonprofit volunteer experience you have or skills. And there's a bunch of options here where you can check off things that you're interested in. And once you've done that, you'll be contacted either by me or the volunteer coordinator to see what positions are open, or maybe you've already identified one, and we'll start to coordinate with you and see if we can get you plugged in. If you have any questions, you can also email volunteer@namilubbock.org, who's our volunteer coordinator. Or you can email the leader, and that's leader@namilubbock.org if you have any questions that weren't answered in this brief video. Also, make sure again to check out our website. I think I mentioned I would show the calendar. So if you go back to the website and go to calendar, you can see when our support groups are coming. You can click on the top to filter the calendar by various topics or event types. But you can see here in February, we've already had connection recovery and family support group. And then you can also, under support and education, you can click on these, all the different kinds of presentations and education topics I mentioned earlier, and you can read more about them. You can get the details of when they meet and what to expect and so on. So I hope this video provided you a quick introduction to who we are and kind of what we do and why. Again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to leader@namilubbock.org. Thanks for watching.